It's an absolute pleasure to be here. We've spoken previously at last year's conference where we were speaking about safety culture and how to drive safety culture. And this time the NSCA team asked us to look at a different dimension, which was actually diving in more to some of our lessons learned over the years of work that we've been doing and what we've seen more specifically from a leader-led perspective to drive safety culture improvement. If you're going to change safety culture, there's a numerous number of frameworks you can look at, but the one that we like to sort of advocate and just think about is changing systems, symbols, and behaviours. So systems, we're not going to spend a lot of time on that today because there is numerous other speakers, and I've narrowed our brief down to symbolic change and behavioural change. So I'm going to sort of focus on those two, but I want to acknowledge up front, if you do not work on the systems, quite often the behavioural work that you're doing and the symbolic work you do will be undone by those. And that's been our findings time and time again. So I'll just limit ourselves to that. From a overall perspective, there's a range of frameworks and tools and tips. We call this power tips, and you can have access to this later. And a number of messages. And I'm going to do some storytelling linked to these. I'm not going to address all of them today, but do want to actually highlight a couple of those. So as you look around the different elements, it's how do you actually generate behavioural change and cultural change by being deliberate and intentional. And that's what we've noticed about the leaders and teams that do it best. They are very deliberate and intentional in what they do. It is not ad hoc. It is not we have a go and then let it go. We actually put in place 2-3-year plans to engage, communicate, and make a significant shift. And we've really had the benefit of working with teams over even 5 and 10 years to see massive shifts in that. One of the ways of firing up storytelling that we used with Richard, in a recent business that he is a part of, they have a lot of issues around managing safety, but not just sort of major safety events, but process safety as well. And the discussion that he led into the business as part of a process safety program that we've been facilitating with them is to look out for the lions and the tigers. And the distinction is worthwhile. The lions are sitting up in a tree. You're out on the savannah and you see them from a long way away. They don't give a damn about you because they are the king of the jungle. So they're sitting there, they're looking at you, and you are not a threat. And this is a bit like most of our standard safety issues. We actually know that a suspended load could fall down and injure and kill somebody if it has not been rigged properly and tested and managed with lifting programs. So it's a bit like the lion. They're just sitting there, and you know if you get close and it's a bad day and they're hungry, they're going to eat you. So that's the lions. That's standard safety for most of us. If you think about your life-saving rules and protocols, 9 or 10 of them will relate to lions. Tigers, on the other hand, is like process safety. They're stealthy, they're cunning, they sneak around, you don't know they're there, as somebody's just nodding to me, and they are a real problem because when they leap, they will get you. So in a chemical process plant, in petrochem plant, in gas plants, process safety, frankly, for many of them is a bigger concern because it results in multiple fatalities, catastrophic failure. And so process safety, is the way in which we've been engaging people to have a new conversation around that so that they see weak signals and they also understand the concept of chronic unease. So working with leaders who actually have that mindset, storytelling is a really powerful way. So I explained a little bit about Richard and the way he does that. Elon Musk is somebody that straight away we go technology, innovation, passion. He's got a big heart for things. Many of you may have read the safety email that he wrote to his workforce earlier this year. It went viral throughout the world, and you go, wow, there's a safety leader landing a message, not just for his workforce, but actually went to other workforces all over the world around what was important. And in fact, the language in his email, there's a couple of phrases that were really important that connected it. And one was, it is breaking my heart that people are being injured in my factories. It wasn't, I'm worried about the statistics, I'm worried about it is breaking my heart. One of the things that we're passionate about in terms of bringing heart is this book. So it's called Care to Dare. I handed it out to a CEO in Canada, and I realised that I've had a good run on book sales. It's not my book, by the way, but he then bought it for every leader in his company worldwide and asked them to have a read and let me know what you think. So it's all about caring to dare. You'll dare to do something differently if you have a culture of care. It uses rock climbing as an analogy, something I used to do a lot of, and it's a great book. So I'm just curious, is there somebody or any of you in the room who would say, you know what, I've got a leader that if they cared and dared a bit more, it would change my business, and you'd be prepared to have a conversation with them? Who would do that? 1, 2, 3. Okay, Ingrid, come on over. Ingrid in my team is a relationship manager and manages projects. She's got one there, and there was one in the front, and I've got a couple of copies of that book for you. So, care to dare is really important. Actually, putting your hand up is step 1 on that.